Already getting started. Liam O'Brien, Ramzi Boukhiam, and Joao Chianca will close out the round. Moving quickly, a man who grew up on right-hand point breaks on the Gold Coast of Australia. Liam O'Brien with the flow, with the style. Looks like a modern-day MR, and he will get stuck. Tough way to kick off your first wave, but he's been seeing a lot of surfing throughout the day. He's going to really get his feet wet here. We've already had a 3.5. Ramzi gets to enjoy his front side, one of the longest lefts he'll get to rip this year on tour. A couple of big open face hooks. Now trying to find the barrel. Parks it. Sitting in that hollow part of the wave. We'll come out and see if he can do more than 3 turns here. Be a beautiful down carve, picking up the rail. Full wrap, going deep on it, and goes for the vertical. So nice creativity on the 3 maneuvers he chose. Out in front of this racetrack, but a big section to belt, but he lets go of it.
I mean, if you talk about Ramzi, you might not be picking him for the wave pool, but you can't deny how much power and how much on rail that guy is, and that just makes him a solid surfer overall. Yeah, he might not have like the air game that you expect from other surfers, but he can get a massive score just sticking to the rail, and that's what he did right there. That was amazing surfing, like one of the tightest carves you've probably seen it so far in this event. Just a little bit of a like set up too much on that barrel, which the judges don't love seeing it here because it's such a predictable wave, but you're going to see after the barrel how much damage he's going to throw. Beautiful down carve, which we don't usually see it here, and then backing it up straight into a massive power hook, and then getting up in vertical once again. A nice barrel, but unfortunately for him right there, gets too tight on that last section and nose dives.
Liam O'Brien, we saw his opener representing Burley Heads, a cool customer, absolutely fearless in big waves, but super smooth in waves like this. And the Moroccan as well. Springing into action on his opener, Joao Chianca. Already quickly throwing that lanky whip into the pocket. He's got a little slingshot wrap that he's got. Overextends on his bottom turn. A lot of body language through his points off the top. Flaring through that section. Blowing the tail out with that power turn, and almost looked like he was going to catch, but with so much power and flow, he kept going until that little disaster.
And that's the problem of this wave, Joe. Like, as soon as you catch a rail, like, you have no time to really regroup, so you keep forcing it in maneuvers, and every time more you keep losing balance and kind of keeping, it's hard to keep the momentum and slow yourself down because the wave keeps with the high pace in front of you. So that's what happened right there with Joao. Like, he was doing great on that wave, almost caught a little bit the nose there, and then just kept kind of not finding a good rhythm again. But great surfing on the beginning of the wave right here. You're going to see the wave bottoms out. He waits it, keeps patient, kind of goes down the line a little bit on the flatter side. Gonna float, but this section right here, it starts to break in front of him. He pushes that back foot, generates speed, and then that's when it happens right there. See that inside rail, he gets caught and he can't find the rhythm back again. It seems like he's going, battling against current.
McGillivray, one surfer that's gone shorter. A few surfers have gone a little shorter than their typical shortboard. Liam O'Brien, his friends call him Lobby. Starting to flow on the left. Got stuck on his opening right. Held him to a 3.5. There's that backhand tube stance, nice and low. Hard to get those pumps while you're grabbing the rail, but he's done well. First turn, second turn after that pit, maybe a third, and now he's gonna pull it again. Super deep this time, and Liam can't catch up to it.
He was on his way for a great score right there. Beautiful technique, tube right in that first section, just utilizing that front leg to slow himself down. You could see him wipe the speed off and get back on track, and then some damage done afterwards, just a little bit deep on that last section, unfortunately for Liam.
Liam also one of those surfers that benefited from some wild card opportunities as we check out this view.
Yeah, this is what I'm talking about. You're going to see him like put that front leg into the wall about 3 or 4 times to slow himself down and keeping the pace. Look. And then he comes out pretty clean right there. Second turn here is going to be very critical. Bringing the board all the way back around, but it's going to set him up a little bit late for this section right here. Gets slipped. Tries to get as small as he could to fit in that beginning of the barrel. This is an important way for Ramzi to apply pressure to the opponents with the first 2 waves right here.
So getting a little whitewater roll in, starting with a swipe off the top. Second turn. Has to regain some speed and frames it vertically so quick. Now he's running after it. Not looking like he's trying to pull in out the back. Almost going off the heel side rail. Regains his composure. He's going to have to go hammer town to recover from those stumbles. And he's a little off still. Trying to settle down for the end of this wave. Now setting up the pit. Maybe a big hammer here or 2. And he ends up letting go. So a little off pace. Couple of grabs early and kind of left him off balance.
I mean, he was looking deadly in those first few turns, but it's the same thing that happened to Joao. This wave's so unforgiving. As soon as you kind of lose balance and lose track of the momentum that you have in the wave, it's so hard to regroup because the wave keeps going forward and just fast. So unfortunately for him on that critical section, lost a little bit of balance on that heel side and then kind of couldn't find a rhythm back again.
Another opportunity for Ramzi to check out this right again to look for some improvements. Take a break. We'll bring in Paul and Flick for the call right after this.
Just knowing what's on the line and, trying to avoid that elimination round, knowing that you don't have to surf tonight, that's a big deal. So let's see Joao. He's going left. What's he got?
Chianca swinging in here. You expect him to load up with that energy and push in really hard. No surprise there. It gives it a swing to kind of get rid of that speed, bleed it off and go deep here. He'll do that.
Oh.
And he'll deal with some troubled water and he'll do it pretty well. Out he comes. You see that board just twitching off the bottom from Joao Chianca. Belts it again. And he gets an adjustment for another crack. And the speed, there's lots of it into this bowl section here. Manages to break enough in terms, able to get pretty deep. And then a backhand hit the finish as well. So some nice tube work done there and linked together. Some pretty critical hits. Thinking about numbers on that left. Some of the backhand surfing we've seen is opening the 4-3-3 on the right. That looked like some very energized surfing from Joao.
Yeah, it was. I think my favorite part of that was both barrel rides. I think he got incredibly deep, but let's have a look at the damage he got done on these turns. So nice series of maneuvers, but he gets so deep here. I mean, this is probably one of the deepest tube rides. I don't know, almost here it doesn't look almost intentional. He has to sort of regain here, gets almost gobbled up by that foam ball, but does so well to push out in front of it, sort of regain that balance and then get straight up into the lip here. Another nice series of maneuvers, but I really do believe that, I mean, this tube riding right here, he's just positioned himself perfectly. So critical, so deep, and gets a nice little finish here. So just trying to get a score on the board here. That's his first left.
To Burley heads, wave that he knows real well in terms of right points. Yeah, pretty decent one. Model you're surfing on, and that's where you hone that point break style that everyone wants to have. Not everyone can have it, and he's having at it here with a nice gouging snap into the lip as well. Stinging that turn. And then slotted, managing that tube real well. Little crumble will just go around that, not tempted to go straight back up. So just a bit more pace between the maneuvers and the variety as well, just giving it a little bit more. He maybe felt he perhaps didn't push as hard as he could have done on his previous wave. Again, he'll get tubed. What's he got to finish here? Important section. Another little bonus as well. Great control, very nicely done. Serving with the polish, plenty of spark. That's going to feel good for Liam.
Yeah, I think so. I think for me, he didn't force anything on that wave, which was really nice to watch. I mean, you sort of mentioned that crumble came down, and yeah, he could have floated across the top, but I think that just speaks to that paced approach that comes with growing up on right-hand point breaks. You mentioned Burley, he's obviously grown up there. When you grow up on a point break, it really just gives this beautiful paced approach to a wave. You can really tell the surfers that have and the surfers that haven't. They just surf with a different sort of pace, a different flow, and yeah, nothing feels forced. I mean, this barrel ride just really maximising that time there in the tube, in the pocket. That's that bit of crumble. He waits, he goes around that, gets the fin release, and yeah, nice little tube time here on the inside section, up into the lip. You've got to be thinking, you know, his previous ride, 3.5, you've got to be thinking that it's going to be going higher.
Yeah, we're going to be really evenly poised here, I think, when this score comes through, but maybe I just felt, and when he debriefed as well with Bots, that he had good flow on his previous ride, but just maybe didn't quite hammer some of those turns and just kind of make them look big, but he's giving it plenty more there. Just seamlessly linking together the tube work with the maneuvers, a little bit of less is more as well.
I think, you know, if you think about the context of the heat, he's just got to drop somewhere around a 6, right? If he's dropping it to somewhere around a 6, he's going to keep it pace with both Joao and...
Right back in this here. He's actually in the lead right now. He has ridden one more wave, but exactly where you want to be at the moment, occupying that top spot. There's less than a point between everybody. This is a great matchup, really enjoyable to call and to see guys like Ramzi. Hammer time for him on the forehands. There's that trademark style, almost feline in his approach, just powerful, light on his feet, and able just to slice through waves and across them, and then go deep in the tube. The rail work really nicely done. And that controlled aggression, that power, he's a big guy. That was an absolute hammer of a turn. He'll just try and catch up there. He'll get a little clipped on the head, and once again, that balance between how hard do you go and pushing hard to get a good number, but puts himself a little behind.
Yeah, obviously just went that little bit too far back on that last carve, but up until that point, that was some really good surfing. It was super critical, and I mean, I can't wait to break down the beginning of this wave. He actually maximised that first tube. I mean, he spent a lot of time in there, really maximised that. He rode on the foam ball, managed that speed really well. So, I mean, he's looking, you know, he's on the back foot now. He's looking to improve. He needs a 6.71 to move up into that first position. Let's have a look. Really critical here from Ramzi. This is the barrel I'm talking about. He gets a lot of tube time here. Really stomps on those brakes and then gets really spicy here. Just carves it back. And then here, that turn, just so much direction change. And then again, I mean, that's sort of the turn that really put him out of position. I mean, it was beautiful to watch, and you know, if you're hitting a closeout section, of course, like, go for that.
There's not loads of room at the bottom of the wave here compared to an ocean wave. It isn't really the traditional trough. So in terms of the way you project off the bottom, it is pretty significantly different. Let's see how his surfing will fit the shape of the wave here. Chianca.
Wow.
Hits it pretty hard. Nice layback. Making a cool shape and then putting it into the tube, tucking everything up.
Oh, wow.
And after looking like he'd done the kind of hardest part of that, going down. Not exactly sure what happened there for him.
Looked like that outside rail just caught exactly in the trough that you were talking about. Got really cupped out, but he was on his way to a really good score. The surfing he was doing, it was electric. He was really deep on the foam ball in that barrel. Let's have a look here. So it looks, he gets so deep, right? And then you can just see it here. Let's see. So he gets clipped by that tiny bit of foam, clips the outside rail of his board, sort of knocks him off center really, and yeah, he loses balance there. But the first part of this wave, I mean, look how explosive that turn is. I mean, it's dynamic. He did basically a carving maneuver into a layback, and then unfortunately, that little bit of foamy section just knocking him unstable there. That's that moment right there. Hits him in the head, sort of gets him off-centered. And in that funny little trough, I was thinking, he was feeling like he was in the flow there. He was feeling like he was in the good rhythm.
No one really particularly wants to come back tonight, surf under the lights. It will look really cool. It'll be stressful if you're in that heat, trying to stay alive in competition. Here we go. Surfer out of early heads, Liam O'Brien on his second left. A reminder, 4.87 is what he's after. Giving it a good crack before he'll stall. Just try and drag everything. Bit of that front leg, bit of bum in the face, the arm as well. Does really well to manage that rail line and come out, and he'll slap it again. O'Brien pushing pretty hard right now. He's keeping it nice and steep, and now he'll get a big pump. This thing will tighten up for him here. Let's see how deep he can put himself. And a finish for him on the end. First turn, he'll knife that one. Gives it a good hit with some speed. 4.87, the number he's after.
Wow, I feel like that was a really equally good. It was a well-surfed wave. You go back to that first barrel, you think about, you know, the different line changes that he had in that compact barrel. Not an easy thing to do. I mean, Liam's not a small person, and being able to change your line like that while holding on the rail on your backhand, it's not an easy thing to do. And then it was just solid surfing. It was really crisp. Let's have a look. Tight in the pocket, sets the rail here, shifts that weight forward. But there are a number of changes that happened here. You can see him pumping that just really hard to do when you're so compact like that. And then a series of backhand maneuvers, one after another. I mean, crisp surfing right there. And then finishes with this tube ride. And nice little belt to finish. Just solid surfing.
Self as well, coming from a land of just endless long right points. Does have that big, powerful frame, and he swings it around with great aplomb. Let's see if he'll do that here. 5.91, the requirement at the moment. And he'll open up by displacing some water, just swinging that upper body. And then identifying this one going hollow. How hollow is it gonna get for him? He'll get a bit of cover, but not super deep there. Would have wanted to get, I think, considerably further behind, but that was a big crack. So back with some vertical hits now, and just building up a bit of momentum. Middle part of the wave is good, and just airdrops down from his last maneuver. I think he left quite a bit of that wave to go though, so it did finish. Kind of chop that one a little bit short. 5.91 is the number that he's after. You can see the tension from the squad. Leo watching on, with Thomas Malem as well. And I tell you what, this one, it's not an enjoyable one if you're in the crew of one of your surfers, because it's real tense out there, Flick.
Yeah, there's a lot of pressure right now for sure. And Ramzi got a lot of work done out the back here. It was great surfing on his backhand. Definitely, he would have wanted more tube time here. There's no doubt about it. I mean, that wave just wasn't really that open, didn't allow him, but here, I mean, he gets heaps of work done. Sends lots of spray, super critical in the pocket, dynamic backhand surfing, but just gets a little bit hung up there. That last bit runs off without him, but obviously he's clapping. He's feeling good about it.
Yeah, I mean, you can't inevitably make the comparison what Liam did on the backhand on his left. A lot more time behind the curtain and inside the tube. Ramzi with bigger hits. More powerful surf, I think that's fair to say, and using that physical advantage. Didn't milk this thing all the way for the finish, so took that risk there on that last section, decided not to try and pull in there. Gives himself a little round of applause as well. In that number one position, this will be the final wave of this heat, and indeed of our qualifying rounds. Here we go. We're in a heat that's really entertained, but it has been tense. Let's see what Joao Chianca's got for us here. First crack, and he'll set up again. Push quite hard there, almost a touch sticky, but really good to just recover that swing around. Now we'll try and find some cover. How deep can he get? Really nice control.
Wow.
Amazing how well he can stall on the backhand and just get deeper and deeper as that tube ran. A little tentative as he comes out. That one, he absolutely hammers it. He needed to go into the excellent range, so from his point of view, the right choice to go and hit hard, but he'll go down again, and it's well done, Liam O'Brien. This round went down, just trying to deal with some of the variation in the wave. Doing it best, Liam O'Brien. That 7, crucial for him. Surfers like Boukhiam and Chianca, maybe left to rue, a couple of mistakes, missed opportunities. They'll have a little bit of time to think about that, but we will be seeing them again under the lights tonight. Elimination 24 surfers heading to that round.